All right, welcome to the review video for quiz number 1 for Old Testament chronology. And let me start by telling you about what this quiz looks like, and then we'll go over some of the information that you may find on the quiz. Of course, the first page of the quiz is short answer. I think there is one multiple choice question in that short answer section, but for the most part it is short answer. On the back page there is a matching section, matching the days of creation and the different isms that we mentioned in class with what their answers are. And so let me go over some of the information you may find helpful in preparing for this quiz. Of course, as I always say, you're responsible for all the notes. All right, I will try to get everything on the quiz in this review video if possible. All right. We mentioned first of all, why study Bible chronology, and we mentioned 3 different things: to learn the story of the Bible. We mentioned to learn how different books relate to each other. And number 3, to understand the different stages throughout scriptures. We also talked about, we started on the creation stage, and we mentioned that stage is covered by the first 11 chapters in the book of Genesis. And those first 11 chapters are very important in the area of Bible doctrine because pretty much in those 11 chapters we have the very first mention of most of the Bible doctrines that we believe in. And so those first 11 chapters are very, very important. We also mentioned 3 important men during the creation stage, that being Adam, Enoch, and Noah. We also mentioned 4 important events that happened during the creation stage, and that would be the creation, fall, flood, and Tower of Babel. Of course, that creation stage, it's pretty amazing, although it's only recorded in the first 11 chapters of Genesis. It is 2,000 years of Earth's history, and so about a third of Earth's history found in the first 11 chapters of Genesis. Of course, we introduced our textbook, which I so graciously gifted to you, and of course, I hope that you would know that our textbook, the author of our textbook is James Ussher, and we didn't spend a lot of time talking about him. But of course, he is the chronologer that wrote that textbook. And Ussher said that creation started on October 23rd, 4004 BC. Now, I don't know whether that date is exactly accurate or not, but that's a good date to keep in mind. October 23rd, 4004 BC, in the evening, by the way, is when it started, because the evening and the morning were the first day. We also talked about the creation week, and we mentioned the fact that there are different heavens found in the Bible. In fact, the Bible records 3 different heavens, one being the atmosphere, the second being outer space, and the third being the heaven where God dwells. And so there's 3 different heavens. We also mentioned the fact that right in the very first verse of Genesis, God created the 4 components of the universe, that being space, matter, time, and energy. When God said, let there be light, all right, he created all 4 of the things that make up this universe. We also talked about that term universe, and we mentioned the fact that it comes from 2 Latin words, basically meaning a single spoken sentence. When God said, let there be, everything was made. And so what a great word there for that. I mentioned very quickly some isms, and I don't know if you got them all down, but we talked about them a little bit. We mentioned atheism. Of course, that is the belief that there is no God. We mentioned polytheism. That, of course, is the belief that there are many gods. We mentioned evolution, which is not an ism, I guess, but evolution. And that would be the belief that basically the earth made itself, or the universe made itself. There is no God, there's no creator. We mentioned pantheism, which is the false belief that God is in everything. And we mentioned materialism, the idea that all that exists is matter and energy, and there is no God or anything else. And finally, we mentioned fatalism, and we didn't talk a lot about that, but that's the idea that all of the events are predetermined and therefore inevitable. All right, maybe a Calvinist would kind of believe in those kind of things. And so those are some of the different isms. And of course, we mentioned that Genesis chapter 1 verse 1 really refutes every one of those isms. All right. Of course, we mentioned the different days of creation, and we mentioned several things that were created in the days of creation. And so I won't pick probably everything on there, but you'll definitely want to know. The first day God created the earth, heaven, and He created light. On the second day, He created the atmosphere, the firmament, and we did mention. In regards to the firmament, we mentioned that the Bible does seem to indicate there's a water canopy that went around the original earth before the flood. And that seems to be said in the book of Genesis. We mentioned, of course, the third day God created plant life. And the fourth day God created the sun, moon, and the stars. And we talked about the stars being for signs, seasons, days, and years. And of course, we talked a little bit about the different constellations and God naming the stars. We mentioned the word Mazzaroth, of course, the 12 signs, as in the 12 signs of the zodiac. Not astrology, by the way, but really created by God originally and perverted by man. We mentioned the fifth day that God made birds and fish. On the sixth day, God made the land animals. And of course, then God made man in His own image. And we talked about that. I believe that is a good review there for this quiz. Once again, this quiz is on Thursday, so I'll be praying that you do well and looking forward to seeing you on Thursday. God bless.